We start off the front page review with the Nation major headline. Oyedele, how 15.8 trillion naira subsidy removal gains were utilized. Finance Minister gives scorecard. Next stage would focus directly on benefits to homes. Then in other news, we have APC yet to decide on Osun polls, says Yelwata. Then we have Senate summons NLC, NFF over poor performance of national team. I think it's about time for that. Adeleke Oke's 500 million naira fund for violence victims. Governor picks COR. Then Wike sets December deadline for completion of 10 key projects. Pension revision receiving attention. That's from General Musa tells retirees. Tinubu orders transfer of recovered loot on claimed dividends to NEL funds. FEC okays 610 billion naira broad projects others. Okay, so what story do we start with?
I have Oyedele, the major headline, how 15.8 trillion subsidy removal gains have been utilized, and the Minister of Finance gave a scorecard, and he also talked about the next stage that we are looking at. The federal government yesterday highlighted the several benefits that have accrued to the nation through the economic reforms introduced by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The savings realized from two key policies: the removal of petrol subsidy and the unification of foreign exchange rates, which stood at all of it stood at 15.8 trillion naira. The subsidy savings were largely responsible for stability in the fiscal space, with states now able to meet their obligations to staff and contractors unhindered. They also said that in contrast to the previous situation where several states relied on loans to meet basic salary and other commitments, the scorecard session at the Federal Ministry of Finance headquarters was attended by some ministers and head of departments, including the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Alhaji Atiku Bagudu, and the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, on the day's campaign that was on January 16th, 2027 presidential election opening. And a breakdown of this fiscal, the utilization was also done because he highlighted that the federal government had 34%, the local government had 25%, and the state government had 41% respectively. He also mentioned that there are still challenges. Oyedele is saying that, however, that he's acknowledging Oyedele says that, however, acknowledging that while the reforms have delivered measurable gains, there were still food challenges of poverty, food affordability, and the ability of households to recover from economic shock. He said that the next stage of the reform program will therefore focus more directly on converting improvements in economic instability into benefits that Nigerians could feel in their homes. So we hope this continues and is being utilized judiciously.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I took the story about the veterans, the ex-servicemen. Sorry, I still have this, my cold.
Let's see.
I had watched them on TV yesterday. They were protesting about not getting their pension. And they said as they have increased the salaries of soldiers, they should please
to their payments.
Do their own, pensions. That they've been there for, and they have been doing this for ages. So they went to protest yesterday, and the Defense Minister Christopher Musa has assured them that the concerns over their wage and pension adjustments are receiving urgent attention. I hope he's not paying lip service and he's really going to do it. He gave them assurances. They were even stopped from entering into the State House, into
the Defense House.
Yeah, by the soldiers there. And I'm thinking the soldiers there should remember that they too will retire one day.
That's thoughtful.
But anyway, he has said that he's going to look. It was a statement by his Director of Information and Public Relations person.
Okay.
I
was curious about the story on sports. I felt it was something of concern because sports is actually a very unifying activity that brings the country together. So the Senate has summoned the Nigeria Football Federation and National Sports Commission and asked them, based on the fact that Nigeria did not qualify, Super Eagles did not qualify for 2026 FIFA World Cup, and the failure for Super Falcons to qualify for 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil. These were the triggers that got the meeting set up, that the Senator Ningi, who represents Bauchi Central, called on both of them. They were there, the chairman of the Nigerian Sports Commission as well as the president of the NFF. Both of them were in the meeting that was instructed by Coach Takwabio that why exactly is our football team is diminishing. I was shocked at the female team. Super Falcon has always done well. And according to them, they've been well supported by the president. That the president gave $100,000 payment to players and officials in that was a near quadruple. So this administration is already supporting. There's been funding. Why is it not trickling down? And he's saying that there's a distance between both teams that are managing the football and the sports commission, and they need to work together. There will be another meeting where they need to talk about what they will be doing going forward. I think there should be more supervision. We have many ministries that should be performing, and the metrics for your performance is that we are winning medals. So if we're not winning any medal or even going into competition. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. We continue the front page review with the Punch major headline: 2027 polls, 571 billion naira campaign spending limit for presidential and governorship candidates. Then we have pension rule, ex-servicemen suspend protest over defense minister's assurance. Oshupo's Adeleke gets certificate, unveils 500 million naira victim funds. Ondo man arrested for burning daughter over bed wetting. Sanwo-Olu gives 20 million naira each to LASU's best graduating students. 30 months after subsidy removal, federal government spends 30 trillion naira, saves 15 trillion naira. And president moves EFCC recovery, that's 242 billion naira on claimed dividends to NEL Fund. Tinubu orders further forensic probe into fake agency, the one by Adeyemi. Okay, so please, who burns a child for bedwetting? What age?
Mental health is real.
I'm telling you.
His name is identified as Paul. He's from Ondo State. He assaulted, allegedly, his 10-year-old daughter for bedwetting. He said he pressed a hot iron. I mean, that is horrible. A hot iron on her private parts. Yes.
A man?
Yes.
His daughter?
His daughter.
Her father.
So, the Ondo State Commissioner for Women's Affairs, Dr. Sheung Osamaye, disclosed this on Tuesday after she visited the young girl at the Federal Medical Center where she's receiving treatment. She's undergoing reconstructive surgery. He was handed over to the police in the Owo Division for onward prosecution. They said that the governor is committed to protection of the welfare of children and the minor whose father assaulted her. So she suffered severe injuries after the incident and has, I told you about the father being arrested.
Who was the mother?
They didn't mention the mother, but the only thing they said about the mother was that the parents are going to go through psychotherapy. So that means the mother is there.
At least.
Probably the mother is also subdued.
So she could, maybe she was even fighting. But for bedwetting,
it doesn't make sense.
Some people don't deserve children.
Can you imagine?
The man has no business getting near his daughter's private parts.
Exactly.
Not for anything. Talk less of.
Is he even the one that is supposed to discipline her for bedwetting?
That Jay, he deserves it too.
I have the one that is quite interesting, and I like this one for first time that we are seeing a huge amount of money being gifted because it is education. Sanwo-Olu gives 20 million each to LASU's best graduating students, and the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on Wednesday rewarded the two students who emerged as the best graduating students of the Lagos State University in the 2024/2025 and 2025/2026 academic sessions with 20 million naira each. Ayilara Olawale, who graduated with 4.9 CGPA in project management technology, was the best graduating student for 2024/2025 session, while Adebanjo Samuel emerged top for the 2025/2026 session with a 4.97 CGPA in aerospace engineering. Sanwo-Olu announced the cash awards at LASU's combined 29th and 30th convocation ceremonies at the university's main hall campus. Of course, the ceremony, which produced 20,604 graduates, was also the governor's final convocation as the university's visitor, and the last for the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello, whose 5-year tenure is ending. Governor Sanwo-Olu also told the students that the certificates they received represented sacrifices that often remained invisible to others. Some of you, in his words, he said, some of you carried crosses that's on to this stage that only you and your families know the stories. You traded in the morning and you read at night. You studied by phone light when the power failed. You buried loved ones in the middle of a semester and still returned to sit for your examination. So I hope they make good use of the 20 million. And it's not time for Bambialas, because some people will not bear no see. Unless they gave you 20 million, you graduated with family members.
They need financial advice. So that they put it
of course, how they can put it to judicious use.
Yeah. All right. So I wanted to the story. I found this story interesting. I wonder how they are going to monitor it. 571 billion naira is a limit. They put a spending limit on presidential campaign spend, but we know that it's not all campaign spends that go through the campaign. There are many money that is spent. Different volunteers are also doing their own expenses. So they said Nigeria is one of the most expensive places to run elections in the world, and it costs so much money to get into office. We have 146 candidates vying for the presidential and governorship elections, and the collective spend must not go beyond 571 billion naira. I hope that they actually don't go beyond.
The collective, everybody, not per party.
No.
Not per individual, no.
All right, what's the
okay? So we have the Adeleke story. He gets a certificate. They said the Osun State governor, that's Ademola Adeleke, on Wednesday received a certificate of return from INEC and announced plans to establish a 500 million naira election violence victims endowment fund. They said the certificate was presented to him by INEC, and he pulled, as we all know, in the election, he pulled about 511,067 votes to defeat the APC, that's Bola Oya Bameji, who scored about 444,815 votes. But the certificate, he said, that's when they gave him the certificate, he said that the certificate does not belong to Ademola Adeleke alone. It belongs to the people of Osun State. Our workers, market men, women, youths, traditional and religious leaders.
Fantastic.
Congratulations and well done.
Moving on to Daily Sun, major headline. Gun battle in Osogbo. Government attack Adeleke's convoy. 2027, Naji, no threat to Mba's re-election in Enugu. Federal government to channel unremitted pension EFCC recoveries to education sector. I've taken the story of Senate grilling NFF and NSC over poor performance of Nigerian football teams. Sanwo-Olu giving 20 million naira cash. We've taken that. Tinubu orders 5-year national security threat assessment defense, and 2027 polls security threat dwarf peace accord. Over 2,500 security incidents in 14 months cast doubt on elections. What happened in...
I took the Osogbo story. They said hoodlums reportedly engaged in a gun battle with the security personnel attached to the governor of Osun State, Ademola Adeleke. He had, the incident had occurred when after he received his certificate of return, he went to visit the palace of the monarch to show him or give him his certificate of return. They said according to the Sun, he was leaving through the exit of the monarch when gunmen attacked and they engaged in a fierce battle. It said a shop owner close to the palace, Laide Mr. said that a few minutes after the governor and his entourage entered the palace, they started hearing gunshots. The guys were shooting from inside the main gate while the governor's security team responded from inside the palace. The shooting was intense for almost 3 minutes before the hoodlums ran away. Some papers said 10 to 15 minutes. 10 to 15 she is saying yes. 3 minutes. But confirming the incident, the Osun commissioner said that the suspected hoodlums were involved in the shooting. Meanwhile, Davido had tweeted that it's a lie, that it was a battle outside the palace. So I'm
Really
not sure
which
what the story
which
is about.
story to believe, but most of the papers carried
That there was actually
There
a
was
gun
an attack.
battle.
yes,
An
that
attack.
there was
Yeah.
a gun battle. Because I read it in 2 papers. It was in the Sun where David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, described the report as outright falsehood. That there
But
was
thank God he's safe.
that there was no
we
link to
want-
the
That's
hoodlum.
the major
We want
thing.
peace. in
We
this.
always see this kind of drama when
Yeah,
somebody
we want
emerges
to tell you
winner.
more, honestly.
I know, but he has won the
He has
election. So
won,
why?
they
why?
congratulated
What
him.
is it?
Let's move
There'll still
on.
be some
He has
paid
even donated
people
money to those that were victims
affected.
of
violence.
500 million.
violence.
You are awarded.
Yes. Hope that-
Even if you are pained, go and lick your wounds.
I'll
It's
come
over.
back after
It's
for
over.
you.
It's over.
Over.
Okay, it's
All
all
right.
over.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review for today. We're totally out of time. We'll take a break. When we come back, we have some very juicy hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.